Hello geometers and general seekers of truth. In this video, we will once again solve a specific problem with the intended purpose that we are going to apply it to a more general case a little bit later on. So in this picture, we know that what we're given here is that the line is tangent to the circle, and we want to find the measure of angle 1. So before we go too much further, let's start naming a few things here. So let's call this point A. Let's call this point B here. And B is also the line of tangency. It's where the line is tangent to the circle. Angle 1 is over here. And I'm going to name a point here C, just so that we are able to name this line properly, line BC. Okay. Now, what I'm presenting to you is the result of some exploration by mathematicians, and I'm giving you sort of the final product. It's okay if you struggle with this a little bit and struggle with problems on your own. It's natural that you're going to have a hard time with it the first time. I'm a little bit more experienced, so this will go a little bit smoother for me. So from what we can see in this picture here, AB major is 248 degrees. That means AB minor is 360 minus 248, so that comes out to be 112 degrees. Now let me show my work here. This is 360 minus 248. Okay. So this arc here, AB, is an AB minor. So what that tells me is that the center of the circle is somewhere out here in the major arc region of the circle. So to solve this problem, I'm going to employ a little trick where I can draw the diameter of the circle. So let's say that we are able to find the center of the circle, and we can draw the diameter of the circle there. Okay. Now you might ask, how am I just allowed to do that? Well, if you look back at some of the previous videos and lessons, I do explain how to find the diameter of a circle. Alright, so I'm going to call this BD. So I'm going to say let BD be the diameter of the circle. So from that information, we can deduce that arc DA here must be 180 minus 112, or 68 degrees. Okay. And keep in mind, what we're trying to do is find the measure of angle 1. So from this angle here, angle 68, this arc rather, that's 68 degrees, we know that this angle in here must be 34 degrees. Okay. So we can say that the measure of angle ABD is equal to 1/2 the measure of arc AD, which is 1/2 of 68, which is 34 degrees. And at this point, we are rather close to our final solution. And for the measure of angle 1, one thing that we haven't used is the fact that the line here is tangent to the circle. Okay, so because it's tangent to the circle, we can say that the measure of angle, and let me name this point up here as well, just so that we have something to name. Let's call this point E. The measure of angle DBE must be equal to 90 degrees. And we've proved this before. I'll just give a very brief reason that line EB is tangent at B, okay, and that BD is the diameter. And so I'm going to draw this little symbol here. This is the 90-degree symbol. And we can see from this that it's not too difficult to figure out the measure of angle 1, because ABD plus the measure of angle 1 must be equal to the measure of DBE And so this angle here, that's 34 degrees, and angle 1 together make up the 90-degree angle. And now we can make our substitution. This is 34 plus the measure of angle 1, which is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, the measure of angle 1 must be 90 minus 34, or 56. Now, as an extension on this problem, let's look at angle 2 here. In other words, from AB to C, the measure of angle ABC. So the measure of angle ABC is just 180, so ABC is this one, it's just 180 minus the measure of angle 1. Which turns out to be 124 degrees. Alright, now why did I do that? Why did I just introduce this second problem right here, this angle right here that's supplementary, or that makes a linear pair with angle 1? Well, let's consider these numbers. Angle 1 is 56 degrees, which happens to be equal to exactly 1/2 of 112, this arc here. And then angle ABC, which is supplementary to angle 1, happens to be equal to exactly 248 divided by 2. So 124 is exactly half of 248. So whenever you see something like that where there's some sort of possible pattern emerging, you should always ask yourself, is that always going to be the case? Can we just do that all of the time? Or is this just a coincidence? And how do we know? Okay, so that's what you are, should do with situations like this. And in the next and final video, we'll see if that is in fact a coincidence, or it is a part of some greater rule, or maybe even a theorem. As always, ask for help if you need it. Keep struggling, keep working hard. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful